I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you are destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room for our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Thank you so very much for joining us right here on the Coach's Corner on SIBN Radio. My name is Marcus Sillette, and as I approach the microphone on this day, I want to tell you I'm not exempt from personal failures or professional blunders. I myself have bumped my head too many times to count. But I like to think that I'm bringing to the microphone the wisdoms of the matter, and hope that through these wisdoms I can earn the right to possibly speak into your life. That being said, today we're going to talk about how to expect less from but more of others. And I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to all of those that are listening to me worldwide, wherever SIBN television and radio is broadcasting. Thank you so very much for following us on Twitter, and again on Instagram and on YouTube. We've got some new content on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to go to SALETTE USA TV and on Facebook. And don't forget the website for 24/7 hardcore motivation for your daily inspiration, spiritual foundation at www.415-960radio.com. Let's get to work. That's Cash Man, the backdrop there. One of the house artists here for SIBN Radio. Thought that would be a great lead in. Expecting less from, but more of. What are we talking about? Bring that on down. Thank you, Mr. DJ. We appreciate you giving us that piece of inspiration. How to expect less from. I was thinking how that our lives are so filled with disappointment and disillusionment because there is so much that we expect others to do for us. So that is the first part of this. erasing as much as possible the past method of operation where we expect too much from folk and not enough of folk. I need some help. Coach, what do you mean? Well, to expect less from indicates that we expect too much from others. And then when they disappoint, now we have legal grounds in our own minds to accuse them of being the hindrance of who we were becoming. I need some help. As long as I can expect more from you, I can get myself off the hook when you disappoint. It's the psychosocial game inside out. You know, I was thinking of a kid that I was mentoring once, and we were going to lunch, and I said, the budget is tight, so we're going to go over here to Wendy's and get us a baked potato. She says, I love baked potatoes. While she was eating the baked potato, she says, I eat the skin too. You see, right there, it was a perfect example of how she switched it, because she knows how to survive on less, but yet extracting more. Oh my goodness, that was good right there. She knows how to survive on less, but extract more from less. How do you extract more of others, but yet expect less from others? That's the dilemma, right? That's the dilemma. Well, I think that one of the playing cards of victimized conditioning is disappointment, disillusionment, discouragement. It's as simple as someone promised us to do something and didn't come through as a child. In your developmental years, or in the most crucial or critical aspects of your life, maybe heights of high achievement, when someone was supposed to be there to help you celebrate a very serious milestone, for instance, or even as you were growing up, the expectation of contributions from both male and female, mother and father. And so a series, consecutive disappointments, disillusionments, but yet the little child sits by the window and waits for her father who promised, I'm coming on Saturday morning. She is told by her stepdad, don't sit by the window. Go and watch cartoons. Let me make you some breakfast. Play with your toys. She turned down all three options to sit by the window, as it were, and wait for a father who has broken promise after promise after promise. Why do the children still believe after being abandoned? Why do the children have more faith for the parent that fails than for the parent that is helping and nourishing and guiding? Why is that? This inverted faith. It's the cycle, the initial cycle, in my view, the initial cycle of victimization and conditioning as a victim. It's the initial cycle. I remember a story in the Bible, if I may borrow from the greatest book of all time. Jesus saw that he could do no works in a particular area, and he went away and dusted his shoes. Are children able to do that? They're not able. They're not that skilled. That's why most of our attacks come when we're young. That's why most visions are attacked when the vision is young. You see, when anything is young, it is subject to attack. When anything is young, it is subject, you can write that down, to attack. Anything, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a young animal just born. If you watch National Geographic, the animal is subject because it may not be able to keep up. It may not have a strength. It may have a defect. It may have a disposition to play or not follow directions. A disposition to walk off with another herd or another family, another sect, if you will. And so I have found that the victimized conditioning is sealed, S-E-A-L-E-D, sealed with expecting more from others. You grow up now as a diluted person in concept and confidence. Not as a person, but in concept and confidence. Concept being knowing the framework of who you are becoming, and then confidence knowing the framework of what you are and possibly could achieve, what you are achieving and what you possibly could achieve. Those two dynamics now become delinquent in the face of disappointment, disillusionment, and despair. And so you grow up now expecting more from. I had someone ask me, I was talking to one of the voiceover executives in Atlanta for SIB in Atlanta. And I was sharing that information that I was interviewing the young man about with a friend of mine. And he said, well, why didn't you mention to him that you do voiceovers and that you use your voice, every day, for SIB and radio? Because I'm making a switch. I'm practicing OBM. You remember what I told you OBM was? Opposite behavior modification. OBM, opposite. These, when you listen to the Coach's Corner, by the way, these are not concepts and ideas I've read out of a book somewhere. These are concepts born and bred in blood, sweat, and tears. Okay. He says, well, why didn't you I said, well, because I don't have to. I was on my job there to interview him, doing what I have been destined to do. And yes, I do a lot of voiceover work, and yes, I would love to network and, even upgrade my skills perhaps and learn some things here and there, but that's not what I was there for. I felt so proud of that statement, and that leads to today's lesson. Expect less from folk, but more of folk. Now, when you say expect more of folk, what you are saying is that though I have been disillusioned, disappointed, full of despair, full of expectancy and unfulfilled, found areas of delinquency, not due to my own faithfulness or commitment or regiment, but due to others abandoning me and taking advantage of me and lying and spying and all of that. And I am not going to see, because it's a two-faced coin to the victimized conditioning. One face is that you are all of what I just said, disappointed, disillusionment, full of despair because of what others have done. But to expect more of others is to not indict the possibility of humanity that can restore or heal those things that I just mentioned: the delinquency, the delusionment, the disappointment. In other words, expect less from folks for you, but expect more of folks for your future. Because if it is to be, it will be a human being that will deliver what you yourself cast as a desire or aspiration to fulfill in life. No man is an island, right? Because that's the flip side of victimization. Well, if they've disappointed me, if I'm full of disillusionment, as a lot of single people say, if there's no good men, well, I'll just be good to myself. Well, that's a good rule initially, but listen, they've got this thing running around that, where you can pleasure yourself if nobody is available. This is a big thing. I'm talking about it in open. And women going with women that are not having any kind of sexual identity crisis, just for the pleasure of it. Why? Because there's no man available. Girl, I don't feel like, a lot of people get on the bandwagon. I talked about that one time in my show. A lot of people jump the bandwagon of the homosexual lifestyle, lesbian lifestyle, not for the causes that we hear in the news. I need some help. Don't believe everything that they tell you in the news. Don't believe every report. Some folks just want to try the field because they've been disappointed, disillusioned. They have given up on men. I'm talking about, and I worked at the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center many, many years ago. And I sat there and heard the feminist statements that were without wisdom, and talked about how they hated men. I need some help. I sat there, the only African American in the room and the only male in the room, for meetings that bashed men. In the name of saving victims, it seems like they were creating more. I'm just saying. But the point of the matter is that the victimized card has two sides. Get ready to go to break. The two sides is, one, I have been disappointed, disillusioned. My life had been full of despair, but I would not indict a span of humanity because of what one person did. So that is what I mean when I say expect less from. Talk more about it when I come back from the break. This is the coach.
You're listening to the sound of your lifestyle improvement station.
Hi, Jamaica Chapel, College Park, Georgia, in the house. You're listening to SIBN Radio.
Hi, this is Ted Bones calling from Richmond, Virginia, and you're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Y'all turn it up now.
Hi, this is VJ Washington calling from Atlanta, Georgia. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. So turn it up.
Hi, my name is Sonia Claiborne from East St. Louis, Illinois, by way of Columbusville, Missouri. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Turn it up.
What's good? It's your boy Joe coming from Snellville, Georgia. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Y'all turn it up.
You're listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station, changing the way we live. SIBN FM, powered by Select USA TV. I need you to realize and accept that there is only one philosophy that I have embraced under the Coach's Corner's umbrella, and that is that we are the common denominator in every situation. So I can't blame them, they, her, and him. I am stepping up to the plate, and I realize it's all me. Not that it's all about me, but it's all about the legacy for those that come behind me to achieve a height of success that I can't even imagine. This is called the transgenerational shift of mindsets, that we may propel ourselves into the generations that is to come and tell them, I won't leave you a mess that you have to clean up, but I'll leave you a principle-centered life that you can celebrate. and catapult into more success. Join me on the Coach's Corner at www.415-96radio.com. That's www.415-96radio.com, and follow me on Twitter. That's the only way you can keep up with the coach. That's right, DCC is in the house on SIBN Radio. Tune in.
Have no respect for my work on my garage.
Well, thank you for joining us right here on SIBN Radio's number one show, The Coach's Corner, talking about expecting less from but more of. A perfect example of that is, thank you, Mr. DJ. The perfect example of that is those who hide behind, quote unquote, the cross. I know I had to pause for you to think about that, because it's a whole lot of folks that hurt folks more in the church under the claim that they're going to leave it all to Jesus. And I want you to understand that I want you to expect less from those folks, because those folks too often more than not have trigger words and situations that catapult you into memories of denial, memories that you now deny. And then thus you learn to expect more from them and less of them, because they have, quote unquote, the claimant of, I don't know, one of the interns forgot to turn that thing off. The claimant of Christ. You see. Well, Coach, what do you mean? Listen. When you, for instance, let's talk about the love deficiency. Let's talk about that. And this is a special show, so we're not going to leave you hanging. But let's talk about the love deficiency. There's a great love deficiency in the earth today, spreading from community to community. When you think about the crime, the deficiency, the lack of food, the lack of job opportunities, the lack of just everything, but love, acceptance, embracements, grace, favor, all of that. It's less of that, because the demonstration of it was hampered somehow. And so we protrude actions, or we demonstrate actions that warrant or signal we want more love. Oh, we wouldn't have come out and say it like that. But that's what we want, because everybody needs it. But you should expect less love from folks and more love of folks. I need some help. I just gave you the key right there. Because their ability to distribute or demonstrate love may be hampered for whatever reason. We're not here to dissect the reasonings of the innuendos of those who should, do, and could. That's not our job. We're here to set ourselves straight and make ourselves of a higher magnitude, if you will, to magnetize our lives, that the law of attraction now not only makes sense, but it works consciously and subconsciously for us. I said the law of attraction because that's another popular one, I focus more on the law of opposites myself, but, to each his own, right? There's a deficiency of love, so consequently, what happens is that we expect love from others. But what we need to do is expect less love from others and more love of others. There's a difference. When you expect something from someone, you will actually stand there, subconsciously speaking now, you will actually stand there, though you're working 2 jobs, raising 3 kids, married the 3rd time, living in a little semi-mansion and can't pay your bills. You are going to be sitting there expecting love from someone who will disappoint. They will disappoint. especially if you're drinking from the same pool that you was hurt from. I need some help. If you're drinking from the same pool of pain, I'm not sure that I can guarantee you profitability for real. But an indictment of her and him, it should not be a blanket indictment for them. Let me say that again. An indictment for him, her, is not an indictment for them. And that's what we do. That is part of the conditioning. Well, I don't trust nobody, the gangster said. The woman that has one child and missed her opportunity to finish her master's degree says, well, I don't trust no man. Don't do that. Don't set yourself up for futuristic failure. Just expect less from. Expect less from. Got to go to a commercial real quick and get that alarm. You guys stand by. Let's coach. Well, I hadn't planned to disseminate this information on today. I was going to wait on it, and I apologize to those who are chatting this early in the morning on the show. You know what I mean? There's no interns in today. It's too early, and there's no engineer or anything, and so I'm sitting here just trying to disseminate this on my own, and I apologize. I mean, folks, thank you, Sunshine and Savannah and all of those of you that may be listening worldwide. Thank you so very much. But listen, let's get back to it. So listen, an indictment of her and him is not an indictment of all of them. Let me say it again. An indictment of him or her or him, it should not be an indictment of all of them, because God still has to use one of them to bless you in the absence of what her and him did not do. I need some help. But that is the plot of victimized planning, if you will, is to get us to distrust everything around us. And as I was saying about the woman who didn't complete her master's degree because one slick fool got her off track, and now she says to her girlfriends in the height of her emotional outburst, I don't trust none of them blankety blank blank. What she really needs to do is learn how to expect less from him, baby daddy, and more of them, men in humanity, who out of a sea of humanity of men, God will raise up a man who will exemplify what a man should be, so you can expect less from the pain pool, if you will, and more from the pool of humanity. And even in that, as I said on Facebook, my notes, how to expect less from others and more of yourself. That's the second part of the show today. Because many of you don't know how to do that. You claim you do. You have the scriptural dressings and the tapestry that you do. But you're far from the goal of expectancy, because expectancy means I am paid any and every day of my life. I am not. Let me just give you a tad bit of what the next few minutes I'm going to talk about. Let me tell you what I mean when I say expect less from others and more of yourself, and even more from God. Well, first of all, I'm having so much on my mind right now. Less from others, more of yourself. More of yourself. there is a feeling that you have on payday. I don't have my notes in front of me, but there is a chemical that is released on Thursday night, if you will, for those of you that have great jobs. On Thursday night, probably around 5, Friday morning, right about 5 in the morning, maybe about 5:45. I'm just playing about the time. But the point is, by the time you go to work, I guarantee you don't feel like you did on Monday. But that same feeling is the fuel by which we should build expectations in our own lives. We allow others to create a dynamic, if you will, of which we should move in and out of based on what they're going to do. But I want you and I to learn how to build expectations based on what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get discouraged. I'm not going to be full of despair. And I know, as I said to someone, listen, your zodiac sign points to your weaknesses. They tell you why you may need Christ, or why you may need to meditate, or why you may need to pray. Most people turn to the zodiac sign for guidance. No, you turn to the zodiac sign, not the horoscope. The zodiac sign tells you the core of your birth. I don't want to get off on that. But anyway, expecting less from others and more of yourself. How do I create a sense of expectancy so that I can achieve my goals? How do I peer myself over into the future, over the seas of failure? I said seas, S-E-A-S, seas. Over the Indian Ocean of my failures, over the Atlantic Ocean of my failures. How do I set a course of expectancy? And I don't have anything against the Christians out there, because I'm a Christian. But listen. We got a lot of jargon that we speak in the church, and we still have less power and not even nowhere near the power that we should have had if that father would have showed up while that girl, as I said earlier, was sitting by the window. We got a lot of jargon we throw around. And sometimes we don't realize it's interchangeable. I need some help there. There was a word of wisdom right there. You missed it right there. It's interchangeable because Jesus even said the children of darkness are wiser than. I need some help. See, y'all don't push me. I got to go to commercial break because how do I expect more from myself and less from someone else? You got to have your act together. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when we come back to Coach.
I'm not secure enough to take criticism from anyone else because I have an ingrown toenail in my mind. And the ingrown toenail dictates to me that I must put you in your place when you open up your mouth to begin to size me up, because the truth of the matter is I have not sized myself up. I have not been truthful with me. And that's why I'm not free enough to sit here and listen to a criticism that may or may not apply. I must cut you off and give you a piece of my mind. And the reason why I do that is because I will never give you the power that I myself have not recognized I have. And my friend, my sister, my brother, that is the wrong way to look at life. You should be secure enough that no matter who does what and where, you could sit there or you can simply walk away without even saying a word. And you know that you've done the work in your private space. Keep pace with the race. Join me on the Coach's Corner at www.415-96radio.com for more hardcore motivation, daily inspiration, and antidotes for your spiritual foundation, because every now and then there's a leak in this old building. And as the songwriter said, my soul has got to move. Join me there at www.415-96radio.com.
You're listening to the sounds of the Coach's Corner. All right, thank you so very much. The antics of early morning recordings. I tell you the truth, alarms going off, you know, all kind of stuff going on. I'm not paying attention to the live chat. I'm just like, wow, okay. But, you know, we're talking about expecting less from, but more of. That was the first half hour, and now we're going to talk about expecting less from others and more of yourself and even more of God. Always remember now that God becomes the co-laborer of which the work that you initiate and are determined to fulfill is the work that he now can come and correct or align, but you must make the purchase. You must make the purchase. You must make the transaction. You must initiate. You must initiate. And then he comes along. He says to the man at the pool, do you want to be made whole? Do you want something that you have been expecting? But then the man was still victimized. Thank you, DJ. The man was still victimized. The man was still victimized because the first thing out of his mouth, rather than what he expected, was what other folk done did. I hate to put that ebonically, but I just did. Well, every time I get ready to get in the pool, every time I get ready to make a move, someone else. Every time I get ready, we have got all kind of things going on. Every time I get ready to make a move, someone else. Every time I get ready to make a move, somebody else does something and prevents me and stops me. You know, it's like that saying that entrepreneurs say, I need some help. I can't do all of this work by myself. Well, see, that's why we're entrepreneurs. Because we do more than what the average person would ever do. It doesn't make us better, but because we want to enjoy a result that other people don't really care for. And that's what entrepreneurs are there for. And the balance of entrepreneurs and those who work in the workforce balances our economy because we need risk takers and all of that. But the man at the pool is a perfect example of someone who's expecting something, but he's hinging his expectation on others. I need some help. He's expecting something. No doubt he showed up at the pool. Don't even say I'm preaching because I'm not. I'm just talking to you. He showed up at the pool. And he was faithful at the pool. Are you faithful at the place of expectation, but yet you have the wrong pathway to it? I need some help. Faithful to the place of expectation, but not faithful to the path of expectation. That's a lot of church folks right there. Faithful to the place of expectation. And they have impressed all of their friends that they are at the pool. But they blame their friends for preventing them from getting in. You know, I like how Jesus handled the whole situation. So, but do you still want it? Do you still want it? And that's the question that you have to ask yourself when others have disappointed you and you've indicted all the humanity over what one person has done. It keeps you at the pool, but not in the pool. I need some help. So there you are. Now you are there now waiting on something great to happen. And you are at the place, but you are off the path. How do you get back on the path of expectation and fulfillment therein when you have been disappointed and when you have been disillusioned, when you have been lied on, lied to, when you have been abandoned, when you have been yelled at, when you have been screamed at, when you feel alone? How do you? First, you expect less from and more of. If God is going to do this, and he will, he is yet still going to use another human being, not of the cult of or pool of pain that you were drinking from. I need some help. In fact, I said on Facebook not too long ago, your next blessing is dictated or predicated on your ability to listen. Most folks have the answer. Every answer that you need, really, to me, is an arm's length away. Stretch out your arm. That's what he says to Moses. Stretch out your arm. The answer was within. How long is your arm? Measure it. 2 feet. The answer is 2.5 feet away from you right now. I said the answer, the solution. We could ratify, we can rectify the entirety of your dilemma right now in 2.5 feet. And that's the problem. Victimized conditioning and thinking says it's going to come from them that I know. Listen, one of the laws that I'm developing and I'm starting to believe in is the law of the unfamiliar. Whatever is going to happen in you, in your life, is going to happen more from those you don't know than less of those you do. I need some help. I need some help. The law of the unfamiliar. The law of the unfamiliar, hence why Jesus might have said to his own disciples a very pivoted statement, O ye of little faith. And it won't be till you're gone to the familiarity of the disappearance of Uzziah. Isaiah says, I saw the Lord. And it won't be until our familiarities in some areas die that we raise the level of understanding what wisdoms we need to have expectation fulfilled. If you're not taking notes during these sessions, you are out of your mind. There's no way you can remember all of these things. You have to take notes so that you can find out what your spirit is saying and get stratagems and tactics to move forward to fulfillment. Expect less from folk, particularly the pool of pain where there is no profitability, and more of folk because you know that God has to still yet use folk, but just not the folk you know. I need some help. And then expect less from folk, but more from yourself. Now, this requires, and I'm going to run out of time on this one, but this is going to require some truth and disclosure here. Because we tend to deny what we have heard in our last experience of 2.5 feet. You were near someone that you knew, and because you knew them, you discounted their wisdom. And so therefore now you have to have a confirmation from a stranger of yet you still don't even completely embrace that because you really didn't understand the power of one. The power of one means that there is an insignificant or significant person somewhere in your life that could say something to you, but you discount it. This sounds good. You get excited when they say it, but you discount it. One thing I know about a Celette, Marcus Celette, is that I am called to transition folks. That's why I'm a coach. I am called to transition folks from A to B. And I have countless stories of folks that listened to what I told them and listened to my content and move from A to B, from B to C, and continue to move because grace is every movement, every round goes higher, so to speak. New grace, new mercies. You those of you that believe that, you know what I mean. But every round. But then I have other stories where people didn't believe in me. And I had to learn how to expect less from them folk, but more of others, but then double back and have less from the pool of my pain and more of the pool of my future. I can taste my future even now. You walk into the bar of your past, sit down at the table of disappointment and delusionment, and then say to the bartender, which is really a hater incognito, pour me a glass of future. Put faith around the rim, and then top it off with a taste of love. What kind of drink is that? Until we're willing to go back into the portals of our painful places, we will not clearly understand the future of pathways to expectancy. One of the tests, expect less from others and more of yourself, is as soon as you expect better for yourself, a hater will appear. A hater will appear, not a gator, a hater. And that hater is there to do two things. One, assuredly, the hater is there to ensure the authenticity of what you say is now true. And see, that's the dynamic of this whole conversation, is that we're trying to create new memories. We're trying to embrace the truths that right now feel new, but they've been eternal all along, but we're just not embracing them. So I'm going to say new truths. And so you have to have a hater, a dissenter, a criticism from a hater, a well-known person that knows you well. Most times, as long as you ain't trying to do nothing way out there, they with you until you say, this going to cost $1.4 million. And then you start seeing the real them that was hidden under the routine and that was hidden under the monotony of everyday life. Expect less from others, but more. Expect less from others, but more of others. But now double back and expect less from others, but more of yourself. I need some help, because the core you that you are now is the catalyst of the determining factor of the level of your expectancy being fulfilled. I need some help. You're gonna have to rewind that and write that down. The core level of who you are now is the catalyst. As the old folks used to say, time will tell if you're telling the truth or not. So a hater will appear to test the authenticity. The hater is there for purpose. Even haters have purposes. If you know anything about the Bible, you know that God used haters several hundreds of times. Haters are there for a purpose. I ain't saying go on and celebrate your haters, but understand that they're not just there taking up time. They're there to test the authenticity of the new place that you prophesy. They're there to test the authenticity of the truth that you say you have now embraced. And you and I cannot have a level of expectancy fulfilled in our lives if we ourselves are not willing to be tested by the same pool of folks that hurt us. I want to pause, go to commercial break, and let you think about that. Just Coach.
It's not enough to have material wealth. The measure of a man or woman is from the inside out and not from the outside in. Don't trick yourself. You will wreck yourself trying to impress others and trying to keep up with the Smiths and the Joneses. It's about time that you start looking at the finish line. And at DCC, we offer the hardest core motivation, daily inspiration for your spiritual foundation that you can find. Why? Because our philosophy is simple. We are the common denominator in every situation.
All right, we're in the home stretch now, so let's review. Expect less from others, the pool of pain from which you had to drink, the bitter cup that was forced upon you, and expect more of others, because that person that hurt you still represents part of humanity, though they were not humane and dignified in their treatment of you. It doesn't denote the fact that they are and were a human being, of which we all make mistakes, but we all also have the potential to offer solutions and healing measures to ensure that the deficiency in our lives now is closed. The gap of deficiency is closed, and our level of expectancy is raised. Hence the man at the pool waiting to get in, but others intimidated him. I need some help. That's what your haters are doing to you. They come to intimidate. They come to pressure you into abandoning the new truths that you've discovered. They come, they got a purpose. They got a purpose. Don't hate, don't hate the haters, because they're people too. Stay calm and move about the cabin of life. Expect less from others, but more of others, because I am going to ensure that I will not level a blanket indictment against all of humanity because of what one or two or three people did. I need some help. Then double back and expect less from others in the contrast, and more of yourself. But then there's the contrast of expecting less from others, more of others, doubling back, less from others, more of you, and even more of a divine intervention situation where God now is involved, So let me review again. Expect less from others, but more of yourself, but yet even more of God. So he comes along. But see, most people put him in this religious bracket. The tapestry of who God is supposed to be is outlined with candles and communion and traditional, this, that, and the other. But no. He is involved in the details of rising from the grave and overcoming the death and the crucifixion that we might have experienced somewhere, and experiencing a resurrection type life, if you will. Come on now. There's a lot of jargon that we need to get rid of. How you doing? Well, I'm blessed and I'm highly favored. That's the American. We just say much more than we know about. Not realizing that the hater that you just talked about at lunchtime came to test what you keep saying to your friends. I'm blessed and I'm highly favored. And then when somebody come to ask you for $5, you be like, I ain't got no $5 till Friday. But I'm blessed and I'm highly favored, honey. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Expect less from others, more of others, but expect less from others in contrast, and more of yourself. But then don't put yourself on the pedestal. Expect less from others, but more of others. But then expect less from others, more of yourself. But then even more of God. God, to me, is like truth serum. If you really want to know something and you're willing to stop for a moment to listen, to see, most people don't see their mistakes because they don't want to see it. I think I'm so excited. I gotta take another break and come back and close everything out. But I hope this helps you today. I hope this moves you to action. And listen, if you want a new reality, you got to have a new mindset. That's what this show is about. This is not a show about how highly favored you are. That might be and should be obvious. This is a show about the practicality of that favor, how to access it, tap into it, and make sure that it is flowing through your life so to the degree that others testify that you are highly favored. You don't boast and make it a sentiment and a tagline, but others say how much they have encountered you and found blessings and transitions and made up ground and was restored and helped and aided and loved and whole. That's what the Coach's Corner is about. It's about knowing and understand that I am the common denominator in every situation. And I need the wisdom tidbits to get me to the place of my expectancy. I'm at the place, but am I on the path? GPW. That's right. The Select USA TV Collabo Media Groups and Partners Worldwide for a limited time has opened up its membership to the general public. Now you can collaborate worldwide with media conglomerate SIBN Television and Radio. If you want to join free of charge for this limited time offer, then visit www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. That's right. We have programs, benefits, service, and so much more to offer to our members exclusively at SCGPW. That's right. Visit www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. That's www.WeSupportSALETTTUSATV.com.
You're listening to the sound of the Coach's Corner. I'm not secure enough to take criticism from anyone else because I have an ingrown toenail in my mind. And the ingrown toenail dictates to me that I must put you in your place when you open up your mouth to begin to size me up, because the truth of the matter is I have not sized myself up. I have not been truthful with me. And that's why I'm not free enough to sit here and listen to a criticism that may or may not apply. I must cut you off and give you a piece of my mind. And the reason why I do that is because I will never give you the power that I myself have not recognized I have. And my friend, my sister, my brother, that is the wrong way to look at life. You should be secure enough that no matter who does what and where, you could sit there or you can simply walk away without even saying a word. And you know that you've done the work in your private space. Keep pace with the race. Join me on the Coach's Corner at www.415-96radio.com for more hardcore motivation, daily inspiration, and antidotes for your spiritual foundation, because every now and then there's a leak in this old building. And as the songwriter said, my soul has got to move. Join me there at www.415-96radio.com. You're listening to the sound of the Coach's Corner.
Well, my time is gone. I simply believe that because of the deficiency that is lying around like carcasses in our communities, we need to expect less from folk, but yet hold them to an expectation that is more of. Until next time, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and beyond. This is the Coach's Corner on SIBN Radio.